States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody. I'd like the Secretary Treasurer to call the roll, please.
William Parrish,
Present.
Ann Walker,
Here.
William J. Warner Jr.,
Edward J. Warner
Edward
Jr.
J.
Edward J.
He is here.
His cousin.
William Bell is here,
AKA
Scott Howard's president.
here. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome everybody to our Monday, December 4th, 2023, 9:30 a.m. work session. We'll get right down to business. I see we got a lot of people here. Waterfowl hunting location permit applications for determination. Hello, Lisa.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning, Liz.
We had a nice weekend.
Nice and rainy.
First one is Michael D. Perte, permit 240. He did bring in a letter of explanation, and I sent it to Rich. Rich said, all looks good, pending your approval.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I'm good with it.
I spoke to him on the phone.
That's an
All
advance.
good? Okay. And then we have Finn A. Kelly and Kenneth A. Booth Jr. I sent this to Rich, and he claimed that Mr. Booth had been asked to be taken off this permit last year, but we couldn't find any back emails or anything, so we asked him to send again. He did send us an email stating that he no longer wanted to be a co-permittee, and he was giving the blind to Finn Kelly.
Mr. Booth.
Yeah,
Excuse
and
me, Mr.
sent
Booth.
that to Rich. Rich was fine with that.
Okay.
Mr. Booth, yeah.
So it meets all,
I called Mr. Booth.
meets all the guidelines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so advance it.
Okay, and then Craig L. Dune.
No, Richard K. Corwith.
Oh, I'm sorry, Richard, yes. He is surrendering his spot back to the wait list. He no longer wishes to use that blind. I sent that to Richard. He also said that was fine as long as it goes back to the wait list.
Yeah,
Where is that spot, James?
It's 199.
We'll
I
take it.
believe it's,
Inside of Clam Island.
No, yeah.
No,
I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what he has up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisa, how many people are on the wait list?
Right now, 102.
102.
We got to, I believe, number 27. That was just last week, and he
Yep.
did take a blind.
Okay,
So
good.
everybody moves up one, so 101
Good.
once he's approved.
Okay. Here's your,
Craig L. Dune, commit 104.
Yep, we received nothing from Mr. Dune. No email, no application. It's up to you guys what you want to do. Do you want to put it back to the wait list? Do you want to take it from him? Do you want to give him
I
time?
think you should go to the wait list.
I mean, I've called the other three gentlemen, but I have not called Mr. Dune.
No?
Do you want me to,
You want to give him a call?
I'll give him a call
Let's
and
give them one shot and then it
Yeah.
goes back to the
Yeah.
wait list.
after the meeting, I'll get the number and I'll give him a call and
Okay.
see what's going on.
And that's,
Yep.
Said.
okay, so we're gonna give him a hold on that
Yeah.
for one session here.
Okay, the next one is Jonathan Corwin. He was taken from the wait list. He has no other blinds. He chose permit 272. And Rich, all his paperwork was in. He's good. It's up to
Advance
you.
that?
Advance it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then permit number 256, Sean Kilfoyle, received nothing from him either. No letter, no.
Let me try to give him a call after the meeting. We're on the break.
Okay.
Okay, so that, it's a hold just for one session and it's going back to the wait list.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
and Alexander Naganovitz, also, we received nothing, permit 269.
He'll hold him also till the next meeting.
Okay.
One session, that's it. If they're not,
Yeah.
And then
if there's no disposition by the next session,
they
they're
go to
going
the
back.
wait list. Okay. All right, that's it for me.
All right. Thank you very
Lisa,
much.
if you get me
You're
the-
welcome.
Lisa, if you get me the numbers for them.
Yep, I'll have them for you. When you,
Thank you, Lisa.
between.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay,
You're
let's
welcome,
let's
guys.
get into the general permit applications for determination. We have trustee Pell,
Conic Marina, 1109 Noyak Road.
is JMO here?
We received an email from them, they cannot make it today, either the owner or the agent.
We could hold it
So
over.
nobody can make it to go.
They requested to hold it.
They want to hold it, so we will grant their request. Next one, we have Vincenzo Asta, 27 Lighthouse Road, Hampton Bays, and consultants.
See, we took the time. This is good. The time.
Yes, that's good.
Hey, Bob.
Morning.
Morning, Rob.
How is everybody?
Good, how are you?
Besides Ed.
I'm here, I'm good.
Yeah, he's
He's good,
alert.
he's,
That's plain wrong.
I was testing him to see if he knew his name.
It was a cognitive test. On the road to recovery.
Why am I
tough as
back?
nails. Tough as nails, my buddy over here.
All right, so this is the ASTA application. I think this is in Ed's area.
Yes.
Gave Ed a little taste of what's gonna happen if this doesn't get advanced.
Okay.
This is,
Tough crowd here today.
so this is a bulkhead that, for part of it, is in pretty bad shape. It got hit with a couple of different storms. This is not super recent. This is within the past few years. The family has not been in a position to pursue applications to replace, reconstruct the bulkheading. They now are, and so we have the application before you basically to replace the existing bulkhead in its existing configuration. This is a property that is adjacent to the U.S. Coast Guard station right off the side of the bridge. There is no proposal to raise the height of the bulkhead higher than the highest height of the existing bulkhead. So I had talked with James and Ed about this. We were trying to get the wording in a way that made sense, but basically, the highest elevation, which is 5.5 NAVD of the existing bulkhead, is the highest elevation that the reconstructed bulkhead would be. There are some sections that are sagged, that are lower or whatever, so those sections would be raised in height basically to meet the height of the rest of the bulkhead as it exists now. That, of course, is most important on the south side of the property where mean high water is located closest to the swimming pool and deck associated with the residential structures on the property. There is a proposal to restore the fill behind the new bulkhead. There's a 10 to 40 foot wide eroded area that would be backfilled, and then at least a 10-foot wide area behind the bulkhead, which would be the area that the board would typically require for a non-turf buffer, will be planted. Yeah, it's going to be backfilled with clean sand and planted with Cape American beach grass. Reality is they'll probably plant more than that, but relative to the board's permit and concern for that 10-foot buffer, that would be a vegetated buffer.
Yeah, because where our jurisdiction is the high tide, and the high tide is substantially behind the bulkhead, so I'd like to see as large a buffer as we could possibly, as you could possibly offer up, or they would offer up. Because, this is a very large piece of property on Shinnecock Bay, and, the water quality in the bay has gotten better over the years, so we want to make sure as much vegetation could be put in that area, to wick up any, nutrients that come off the property.
Yeah.
So being, I think that's one of the, concessions that we could work with and see if they would be amenable to it. And also the bulkhead, I know the area, and the bulkhead has been put in a couple stages. So you're citing the highest point of the bulkhead that's currently there, and it would
Correct.
be all consistent all the way around.
That's correct.
Yeah, I've been on site and I'm familiar with it. I think it'd be consistent to what we have done in previous,
You
you know.
have state
bulkhead.
permits for this one already?
I'm sorry?
State opining this one?
No, not yet. We had actually tried to see if, to expedite things, to see if we could get a general permit from the state, but because of the condition of part of the bulkhead, they can't do it as a general permit, so they've asked us to submit it as a standard 5-year tidal wetland permit application, which we're in the process of.
And it would be consistent with some of the other properties along this beach where the state had given permits where the bulkhead had become somewhat dysfunctional. So, which I'm familiar with, I believe it's White's Lane, there was a bulkhead just north of that was similar to what this looks like. And this all happened during the storm last year, about a year.
Christmas storm?
Christmas storm. Most of that bulkhead was there in a much better, much more sound way, but that storm really decimated what was,
The
was
first,
there.
yeah, the first time they asked me to look at it, it had been damaged, but not to the extent that it has been since.
Yeah.
And then you don't realize how well it's functioning even in that condition until you remove it, and then a disaster occurs.
Yeah, so that's the concern.
Moving forward, one of the concessions I'd like our board to put on there is to have all the concrete that's seaward of their property along the facing of the bulkhead, to have that all removed. Because there was a bulkhead, the bulkhead previously, back in the 50s and, 40s and 50s, was just a concrete wall. And it's all somewhat has ended up into the, on our beach there.
So you're talking about the area that's on the outside
Yes.
of the bulkhead? Yeah, I don't,
Clean up the beach.
I think they would probably,
It would benefit them and it would
Wanna
benefit
do
the
that,
public that walks the beach along its
I
area.
don't see that as an issue, Ed.
Okay.
Can you put that on the cover sheet?
Wouldn't this be a condition of the permit, or?
What you guys want?
Well, I like to have it on the cover sheet because,
That way it gets done.
well, we're transitioning, we had a dock inspector, he has now left us, and the future dock inspector, I'd like to have everything right on the front sheet, so when they go down and do the
Understood.
compliance, review, that everything is in hand, and everything that has been discussed and has been, is there, so it's
Not a
easier
problem.
for everybody.
Right.
That's fine, Jim.
It won't hold up anything.
No,
It's
I'm
just
not. No.
clearer for us
So
especially.
we've done this before in many properties.
Still waiting
so-
on the state anyway.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no, I just want to make sure that
and I think the state would be agreeable to what we're doing here too. And I know they have in other projects. So we want to move that ahead just with the change in language on the cover sheet?
Unless you want to go another round with Rob?
No, I'm good.
and we'd have to give you engineer
Of course.
stamp plans.
Stamp
Yep,
Of course.
yeah.
I think we
Please.
gave it to you.
Yep.
Do you want me to make a notation about the concrete on the plan as well?
I
Yes,
think you should.
yes.
Be as clear as possible.
Not a problem.
Because I believe when we have our new dock inspector, we're gonna ask him to go down through a series of bulkhead replacements, not just when it's completely done. I like to see him go down when it's tearing it out, putting the dead men lay logs. So engineering wise, that person has an understanding of how a bulkhead functions and works.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we good, James? All right.
Do you have anything else, Rob?
I don't. Kidding aside, I hope you do feel better. Jeez.
Yeah. Working on it.
Done with me?
Yep.
That's all you got.
Thank you all.
That's it.
Thank you, Rob.
Green Harbor.
12 Green Street, Green Harbor LLC, Village of Sag Harbor, Thomas Johan.
Morning.
Hello.
Can you just sign in and give us the contact information?
State your name for the record, too, please.
Thomas Johan.
Do you want to explain the project, Mr. Johan?
We applied for permit, received it, built the dock. We had trouble with some of the boards on the floating dock. We asked them to replace it, and this happened a year ago. They replaced the boards. Unfortunately, they came and they took the floating dock away. So when I called the dock guy, he was out of the country already for his winter vacation. And he said, when I come back, you'll have to pay a small fee, but the dock is done. So it was kind of too late to get it. He brought the dock back, the floating dock, in April. We were past our limit. And so we're applying for a new permit to have it inspected.
Oh, so you were past the time limit, not the size limit?
Yeah, just the time limit.
Okay.
James, do you want to weigh in on this a little?
Even with the, couple months lead time? How far,
Well,
how many
we,
months? Is
our
it-
permit had expired in the end of September.
Oh, so it's like
So
6
we,
months?
yeah.
Yeah, you have to reapply.
Yeah.
So we reapplied.
James, do you want to weigh in on this a little?
For what?
Well, the survey that we have, the plans that we have, the dock wasn't built in the area, it doesn't coincide. So the plans that we have show the dock on the west side of the property, and you're, on a site visit, it was built in the middle of the property.
Yeah, more to
So-
that. It was moved by, Dana had done the initial application.
So it's not in the spot that we permitted it,
So the original approval was in the middle, you're saying?
and you moved it over there? How far is that off the property line?
So,
8 feet?
That's not in compliance.
That's gotta be moved.
8.6 feet.
That's not gonna work.
No, it needs to be 10 feet off the property line.
This needs to go back to where we originally permitted this.
Well, I'm gonna have to get the people who put in the initial application, because on
Is
our
that- is
survey
that
and
the
what we
initial-
got from
yeah.
them is where we put it. It was
But
surveyed.
what does our permit say?
Ann has a copy of it right here, and it clearly is much different than what was,
so there's
Yes.
two different.
yeah, but this is the,
Where's the approved permit?
this is the approved plan here.
Okay, so that's way off.
And this is what was built.
Okay. So this is not gonna work. That cannot work.
It's only 8 feet off the extended
It's,
property line, so.
it's
not-
completely wrong.
So the
Yes.
dock built it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
You see the survey too, please?
Yeah,
Here,
you gotta-
You can-
look at this.
that should be adequate. Yeah, it would be like coming in for a building permit for a house and putting it, instead of 10 feet off the property line, putting it 8 feet off the property line, where you have meets and bounds.
Sir, this is not gonna work.
Yeah,
No, it's gonna have to move it.
Okay.
This is not gonna work.
I mean, who gave him permission? Did you give him permission to put it there?
Well, surveys came and surveyed it, saying this was where it was changed to from the initially when it was proposed, like 4 years ago, it was on the,
We would have never
The
approved
north
that.
side.
Which
Yeah.
is, this
There's
is
no
the-
way.
This is the initial one, this is the one we did the review over. This
uh-huh.
is the one that we permitted.
And
the
so the
location.
survey stakes are incorrect, you're saying?
Yeah, so they looked at the wrong, they should have looked at the up-to-date permit. They probably
Yeah.
looked at an old survey.
You need to have a huddle with your design professionals and
Yeah.
construction engineers, because this is not gonna pass.
It's not
It
compliant.
can't stand.
Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah, section 50 of the Blue Book does clearly state it has to be 10, at least 10 feet away
Yeah.
from the neighbor's property line, unfortunately for Mr. Johann.
Well, not on, even aside from that, it has to be where we permit it to be,
Right.
regardless.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna, there's no way we can.
No,
set
you
up-
know, we just hired the surveyors to come in and use what they were given by the people who did the original environmental application. That's what they gave the
Which-
surveyors.
Do we have the original application here, or is this?
It was by a woman named Dana, I forget the name of her company.
I have all the
There's-
plans from the original.
That's the original application, right? That's the one we
Yeah.
did the review over. So that's the one that we voted on to approve. Now what,
This
Mr.
is what's there now.
No, that's, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Mr. Johann has a completely different dock than what we approved.
Yeah, that has to,
It's too close to the property line, and we, it's,
Because you're the property manager, Mr. Johan, or you're
I'm just the project manager for the,
So you're,
no one's living there, I mean, it's the house under construction.
right, well, they're gonna have to continue on with their under construction part, because that
Well-
has to move.
That's not where that dock is. If you look on the survey, the dock is,
Well, that's what you're giving us, though.
no, this is
What am I looking at
we
here?
applied.
That's what you applied for, but where?
Where's the dock?
Where's,
And this is where the dock is. That's right where it is. It's closer to the road, not close to the property line.
What's that?
what's that?
That was the initial, that was before it was moved.
So you have to give us an up-to-date survey.
Update the survey.
Update the survey exactly where the dock is.
It would be an as-built, yes.
That's
correct.
right.
It's an as-built anyway now, because I'm past the,
Right, so
Deadline.
right, you're right. We need an as-built survey. This is
just an
going on-
as-built survey. I can get back on the list to come, that's all you
Yeah,
need?
Yep.
we need to see exactly where the stock is and compare it to what we permitted, and then we
Yeah.
have.
Have you been
What's the
down there,
date,
Nancy?
what's the date of that plan?
And is it,
Which dock is it, which dock is built there?
This
That one. But where did this come from?
old survey, old
That
plans.
must have
I don't
been
know.
from the,
This-
that could have come from when you
18.
initially put it in before it was changed.
Okay, so you came to the board with this original plan, and we
adjusted it?
adjusted it to conform to our regulations.
That's correct. And that's where it is now.
Okay.
You submitted this survey though for this application,
So he submitted the wrong survey.
so
What-
we just need an updated survey showing exactly where you put the dock, where you.
So you gave us the wrong survey with this
It's,
application.
this is the one, right?
Well, but we have this in our file.
Those are the
21,
plans.
this is old, this is 21.
We-
Yeah, no, I don't-
We need an updated
I mean-
survey.
Also, just can I just get this one that was done by the surveyors? Do you need one, like,
We need an
what's the date?
as-built, you should
Updated.
provide us an updated
Within a
survey
year.
showing
Okay.
us what
Within
the
a year.
conditions are now. And
Yeah.
Because
that way
everything-
we assure what's going on here, because there's confusion, unfortunately.
Everything we're looking at is 2021 survey and plans.
Yeah, they're old. So,
Okay,
yeah.
just an as-built, that's fine.
That'd
Yeah,
be,
that's a lot easier.
that's a lot easier than
Yeah.
ripping it all out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because that's where we were going.
Yeah, okay.
We
All
were
right,
going
thank
to the
you.
rip it out.
Well, that would show the dock would comply to our regulations, so then we could move
Right.
forward in approving it
Right,
in the current location.
because that other thing was not happening.
All right,
Yeah.
not a problem.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Gannett Creek, 42 Beach and Yacht Association, 42 North Drive, Village of North Haven, Costello Marine. So this is, hey, good morning. This is the bulkheading on the east side of the entrance to Gannett Creek that we just approved, and
No, we approved the
We-
west side.
well, that's what I was about to say. We just did the west side, so this is the other
Okay,
side.
so they're gonna come back with a notice, okay.
Right, so to remove and replace the 60-foot offshore section, plant Spartina, and construct a 24-foot bulkhead return extension. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think, I think it's a pretty easy concept. I mean, the offshore end it's time to repair it. I mean, it's been repaired, it's time to do a full replacement of that 60 feet. And then, on the back end, it's pretty evident that the bulkhead return is being scoured out, undermined. And, so we have to do a slight extension to the bulkhead return. We'll fill it, and then we're doing also plantings to kind of soften that corner out a little bit.
So this shows this
Yeah.
section here and the additional return as well. James, can you pull up, not that one, but the one that shows,
That shows, this shows
and
right
then
here.
go,
See where it's getting outflanked here?
go that
We sit down
way,
here.
so, yeah. So we can see where it shows on the back end, there's the, yep, go that way a little bit again. So it shows the 24 feet additional return as well. There's a fair amount of water that moves through there,
Yeah.
and there's quite a bit of scouring that takes place.
How about put a low sill bulk in there and do That way we don't have no net loss of wetlands.
Yeah, so I would, that's what I just done, Scott.
Really?
You keep
Good.
adding it, and if you do a step down low sill and
It's a rock.
re-veg behind it,
Gotta take the surge better.
yeah.
Take that overwash better.
And then let it go, let it come back.
Yeah, because then you'd have a net gate, because right now, the high tide mark is, looks like 10 feet or more behind the bulkhead.
Yep.
So by putting a bulkhead there, we'd be having a net loss of wetlands. Having a low sill bulkhead there, you'd reclaim that as natural wetlands and have a net gain of
I
wetlands.
think this area does make more sense for a project like that.
And would,
It does, but I think the fear is that you're gonna keep scaring out more and more.
Not if you plant it.
Yeah, if you,
I don't
if you,
know.
if you, I think if you get the elevation correctly, it should work out. I mean, we've used these things in other areas and it has worked out.
I think if you went
part-time, yeah.
parallel with the shoreline, it
You
would work
can't-
out better. I
you
think
can't-
because you're coming out on
On
this
an angle.
angle, and that's why we're gonna do plantings in front and soften out that curve. Ideally, I mean, and they didn't wanna make this commitment, but I think the whole shoreline there could be replanted in a sense.
I think it makes more
As you
sense.
go
You
further down, I think people walk, there's a lot of foot traffic bringing, and,
I don't see the DEC allowing us to extend that return, and because this Spartina in the water there, you'd be covering up that grass.
I have DEC Army Corps and Department of State.
They,
You've already
they're,
got that?
they're going
Yeah.
to allow you to cover up a wetland?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not in favor of it, so you can- that's my personal opinion. This place already has compromised water quality. We worked with the harbor committee on trying to upgrade it, getting dredging projects done in there and new bulkheads for you all, so I think you should give a little bit back to the environment.
okay. But no problem with the offshore end? Because really, the
No, the offshore
offshore
end
is
is-
our big concern right now.
Well, that's where the
fine
filling
with that.
and, and if that breaks down like it did on the west side, then you're gonna have constant filling through the holes in the bulkhead.
Okay, so if I modify the plans, just taking that back end out and just doing the in-kind, in-place replacement of the offshore end, just so I can keep that part moving. I don't want anything to happen to that jetty part.
No, we don't either, because we just
Just
spent,
did
Let me
that.
just move on
Spend
with that,
about
and I'll do
10
a
years
separate
of-
application for that
Yeah.
back side.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that okay?
Or just replace the existing return and leave
Well,
off
that's-
the extension.
There's nothing wrong with the existing.
It's a brand new
return.
bulkhead.
We have
Yeah,
random
so-
bulkhead.
Okay,
You know, even if we replace it, it would have to be extended.
okay,
They're just trying to shore up the next 50 feet.
right.
And it does have, Spartina there, so I don't see filling that in and making it
I'm surprised they gave a permit based on other applications that we've
See,
worked
Scott, I
on.
mean, that's actual grass there, like Spartina grass. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not,
I mean, if you soften it up with a low sill and some rocks and some plants, it'd be nice.
yeah, it would be. And when you get the surge coming in, because now that you're dredging the channel out and making it wider again, you're gonna get more of a wave surge in there,
Yeah,
so.
I agree, yeah.
And with the low sill bulkhead and the plantings, it would be a natural, more of a natural shoreline.
Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take that off of the project at this point, and then I'll do a whole nother.
So you leave the sound side and take the creek
Yeah,
side.
because I just really wanna get moving with that, because I've gone through the DEC, Army Corps and Department of State, so it's you guys and then the village I still have to go through. And, we would love to get this work done, especially I think they're anticipating dredging momentarily
Hmm.
in there.
Well, if you have both sides of the jetty repaired, it should give you 10 years between dredgings. That's been the whole issue.
That's been the problem,
Yeah.
The
yeah,
west
but
side.
now that the west side is complete, the
Yeah.
west side was a real problem with that dredge.
Yes, it was.
This side has been pretty
And you
good.
could drive a truck through that hole.
I know, but now that it's repaired, this side, the east side looks real bad.
Wow.
That's what happens.
All right, then do it in stages, but, I'd like to see the best environmental project done there possible, because, the harbor committee was before us with the water quality, and I know it was downgraded for, shellfishing and,
In the creek itself.
so we would like to make all these projects as environmentally sound as possible.
Okay. Do you want the hard copies of the PEC on?
That would be helpful, definitely.
We haven't.
You have them, you good? Okay.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you. Okay, 35 Dune Road, Bridgehampton, Dune Road Holdings LLC. James, there was a survey that was sent in. Sorry, Charlotte? I put it in there. You did? Okay, good. Okay, so this is snow fence application to, thanks Charlotte, to protect the dunes on the east side of Mecox Cut on Dune Road. It's about 300 feet of snow fence in a zigzag formation, as has been done. We requested a survey showing
this?
the toe of the dune.
That's 16, that's all.
It's too old. Oh, that's the average height.
What's that?
We're looking at the survey dates here.
The survey dates.
Yeah, and the survey was given.
Here's the top of the dune,
This is 21.
here's the bottom of the dune.
This is 21.
What's this dimension here?
That's the average high water February 16.
No, I see, but what's this?
What's
What's the
the
dimension?
distance? What's The distance, yeah. What is the distance between the proposed snow fencing and the mean high water? The current mean high water?
Looks really,
We had requested that it be updated on the survey, and we had not received it.
that's,
I spoke to the owners, they were out of town Thursday
that
or
looks like a,
Friday. This is what was sent to us, so there's no
Yeah,
we need to know that.
delineation.
because looking at this picture that they furnished us, looks like the rack line is almost up to the grass and the snow fencing that is currently here, so if they extend it out further,
We're gonna have no
we're gonna have
access.
no 4x4
Okay.
access.
That's why we requested an updated
Survey.
Yeah,
This looks like it's going out, they wanna go, we need more information.
yeah.
This looks like it's going way
Into
far,
the-
way
yeah,
far into
onto
the,
beach.
Right
Into
here
the
is
beach.
the rack line's right here.
I see that, and this is all looking pretty good, all
Yeah.
up in here. So now we wanna go where?
No, you don't wanna put it out
You
like.
can't go any
You wanna
Has to
keep,
be within
So-
10 feet of the
Toe of
toe
the
of
dune.
the dune.
yeah.
Yep.
That's why we
So-
requested a new survey.
Yeah, that's,
So this survey shows toe of the dune.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
2021.
Oh, okay,
and then look at this measurement from here to here.
okay,
What is that?
okay. All right,
Oh,
there was,
We don't know if it's a building beach or a narrowing beach,
Yep.
so.
we'll circle back around with them. There was some illness in the family, so
We'll hold that.
struggling with this. So James, you have notes on that then, so that we can go back around to them?
You just hold it, we need to update the survey with the mean high water and.
Updated
toe of the
survey.
dune.
Yeah, we need to know the dimension.
Proposed,
And the dimension from the proposed fencing to the mean high water. line.
Exactly.
And to the toe of the dune.
And to the toe of the dune,
Can't
yeah.
extend out more than 10
You
feet.
gotta look
Yep.
at that.
Okay, 59 Pine Neck Avenue. 59 Pine Neck. So this is an interesting situation. This is a masonry bulkhead, and they're requesting to repair the cracks and chipped concrete in this older bulkhead. The bulkhead was probably built in
40s?
the 40s, right, when the house was built?
It might have been a retaining wall back then. This part,
Yeah.
With no
Retaining wall
permit.
slash bulkhead.
yeah.
So it's on Mill Creek.
I'm like, how can we repair it?
They just want to fill in the chips.
So it's not gonna be any further seaward than it currently is. It's
They're
gonna
not.
be right in, just basically putting stucco over what's there now.
They're not changing
They're
anything.
just gonna fill in the cracks.
You
Yep.
know, I'm familiar with this property.
What's you have the cover sheet there?
Masonry bulkhead 35 feet long by 5 feet high with built-in stairs. Repair of cracks and chipped concrete.
They're just gonna parge it,
Right.
They're just gonna what?
parge it.
Fix it. Grout it.
I guess that's
Put a new
okay.
facade on it.
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
Yeah. Is it structurally sound as it is?
It looks like it.
The way
it's
it's
built.
supposed to.
Seems
Seems to be, it's
built
not,
back in the day when they.
There's a new bulkhead on the south and a new bulkhead on the north, so it's one in between, so, I mean, it looks like it's not sagging or leaning towards the bay or anything, so it's completely vertical, so, yeah.
So advance this, is there any special language that needs to go with this, being that it's not something that we usually do?
Well, any disturbance in the tidal wetlands, if they take the grass and they crush it or kill it or remove it, it should be revegetated there. I mean, because you're gonna have equipment down there, you know, and people down there walking on all of that grass, and they're gonna pull it away from the wall as it currently is to work on it, so maybe a re-veg in front of the, you know, right, like 5 feet in front of the current wall there, so that we maintain the wetlands there.
Okay.
what do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioning wetlands, is there any interest in getting any kind of letter from the con board, or are we outside?
It's on the other side.
It's on the
of
other side,
It's
okay.
on the other side of it.
Then, no, I think seems like it would be a minor disturbance then.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that the wetlands is maintained and it's not destroyed.
And we don't have anything like this in the blue book, so I just want to make sure we hit everything.
Yeah.
I's crossed, T's dotted.
So you
Okay.
just need stamp plans and then a cover sheet with the language about the revenge.
Yeah.
If disturbed.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Up to me.
That's all I have.
To you there, trustee Parish.
Halleck W. Culver, 6 Beaver Dam Road, West Hampton. Come on up.
Sit down, sign in.
Morning.
State your names for the record, sign in,
Thank you.
get right down to business for
I'm
you.
Daniel Culver, my sister Lauren Culver Barlow. And we have a bulkhead that we want to repair, one that had been there. It's been there for a long time. My father has owned the property for quite a long time, back to the 1950s, when we were all young, at least I was all young. A lot of younger people here. And I can remember going out in our boats in it. And I have some notes here. That is an update. I only have 5 copies. I didn't realize there might be so many of you.
It's okay, we share
Five
one.
trustees.
Can I give, share
Where's
these?
the
Send them to Jessica.
Give us one.
Our attorney, our
Manager.
Chief of staff.
manager, office manager over there. She can stamp them in, or stamp them so then.
Pass that down, I'll share this one with the.
Yeah, so, my brother Wayne, who cannot be here today, is the one who wrote this up. He's the project designer. He is a civil engineer. He's licensed at number 2. He gives his credentials. He is the author of all these plans. He has a lot of experience with various things, probably more than many of the people that you see in this position. He's done the work on the Quad Bridge upgrade. He was the main engineer there.
I think we were in Southampton too, on 39, 78 Road, 40.
Yeah, he's been
He assisted the county.
While he may not be, have had to come to Southampton to apply for permits, he certainly gets them through New York State and Suffolk County. And so Wayne he lives in Smithtown by me.
So let me ask you a question. So you have, relative to the site work on number 7, that you want to get rid of the Phragmites, which is okay, but you say you intend to seed it with grass. What type of grass are we talking about here? Beach grass?
Whatever you would desire, actually.
Probably Cape American beach grass or Spartina, something like that.
American beach grass.
You know,
Yeah.
we're near another part of Southampton Towns, Beaver Dam Marina.
Yes.
And they have grass there.
Well, they have regular grass. Is that
Okay.
what you're saying? Or they have beach grass?
You know, I don't, it's not beach grass, it doesn't appear
No,
to
it's
me.
not.
They have grass right up to the bulkhead.
Yeah, so we don't, we
That's
beat to
You
a
don't
bit
like
of a
that
different
grass?
drum, you know?
What grass is it you like?
We're looking for,
American
we're
beach
looking for,
grass?
yeah, native,
Yeah.
deep-rooted species,
Yeah.
which is what you want, because it adds, as your
Deep and
brother or whatever, you're saying? Brother's the engineer, would probably understand that, you know, for the structural integrity of the project, it would be best served with deep-rooted native vegetation versus, you know, shallow-rooted grass, which could cause it to be undermined or overwashed. And
Grass that would work in the marine environment where you get overtopping and flooding. So
Right.
that's what you'd ask them, that type of,
This would only be within 10 feet of the bulkhead.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Within 10
nothing else
feet.
can be
Right.
removed
Yes.
under the trustee's permit
That's
outside
our
the 10 feet.
jurisdiction.
But what's, within 10 feet, what do you want?
That's what we're talking
That's
about.
what we're talking
Okay.
about.
The grass
That's
goes-
our
The grass goes
jurisdiction.
within 10 feet.
And then.
Then you have
Then you
to
can-
get it different.
After that, then you would have to apply to the conservation board if you were gonna do something different upland after the 10 feet.
You
That's
want-
not our jurisdiction, we're looking to do
Yeah.
it to 10 feet.
Oh, so you're just within
10 feet,
feet?
Oh,
so
and then, I see.
it's a different
There's two
jurisdiction.
different.
10 feet of the whole bulkhead?
Yes.
Yes, the whole way around.
And beyond that is the conservation board.
Conservation board.
So are you doing any upland activities to this
What,
property?
like parking?
Right, so you're just staying, you're just dealing with
It's
bulkhead
narrow.
right now?
We want to do the bulkhead, we'd like to, you know, Southampton, Beaver Dam Marina
Do you have
looks
a
very nice. We'd like to make
overhead
it look
shot?
nice, like them.
Right, no, but we're just dealing with
The
what's in
10
our
feet.
jurisdiction right
Yeah.
now. So that would be the bulkhead and the 10 feet. So for the grass, because you're indicating grass, we just need to specify the fact we're going for native vegetative grass like Cape American beach grass, not other types of grass that
Doesn't
need
need
fertilizer
fertilizer.
and everything else.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not what we do.
Middle of the
Is there any other,
parcel.
anything
I think
else that
that-
we might use, a
The
paver?
house might be across the street.
Because it's a very tiny area there. You could put pavers there, you could
Well,
put,
the object is with the grass is that the deep rooted, because your plan is indicating grass, and the grass is a good idea. It's a better idea. It's just that you have to use the right species of grass for it to actually work out for what you're trying to do and what we're trying to do. So he's in the right direction with grass. You just have to specify.
is that what Southampton Town is using too? Just to
We,
the south?
as I said, we beat to a different
This is
drum.
the survey?
Would be to a different.
Each
we're different.
application we come in, whether it's 50 years old, the property, and have issues, we try to bring everything up to current standards as far as our Blue Book regulations. So you're coming in for a bulkhead replacement that was done in the 50s. What was done in the 50s and allowed in the 50s is completely different than what we do now. So we're bringing your property up to our standards in 2023.
So you're looking to come up 9 inches to match the southern bulkhead, is what he's looking to do, according to this application? Trustee Parrish?
More like 7 inches. He says 0.8 feet.
It says 9 inches higher than the existing bulkhead to match the tie into the existing bulkhead and walkway on the south. That's what the narrative that he has given
And the
us.
application says 0.8 feet, which is close to the 7 inches.
Okay.
All right, so what is the differential of the project to the adjoining to the south?
9 inches, it states here,
9 inches.
4.8 feet.
He's got an approximate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't pull that stuff out and then just put regular grass there. It's
No.
it's gotta be native vegetation grass.
Yeah.
That's gotta be. Otherwise that's not gonna work.
You have a great buffer around your bulkhead. You have a little slip there.
What do you say?
You have a nice buffer
With the plantings.
with the
that are
natural
there.
grasses and stuff like that.
I mean,
Groundsel
it's a
bush.
shame to mess with all this stuff.
I know, but they're gonna need it to take out.
I know, but
Okay.
I get it. But he's actually talking about,
They hand cut that. They
Right.
might be able to save a lot of other stuff.
If he's,
they wanna locate heavy equipment to the west or on barges in the water.
yeah.
I think your best bet would be from a barge
I think I was just gonna say
Yeah.
the exact same thing, they're better off working from a barge.
And then hand cut the phragmites in the area of the ground zone.
I think they gotta not
Yeah.
disturb as much of that native stuff as possible.
Well, now, what is it that's disturbed, you wanna worry about being disturbed, there's only phragmites there.
On the other side,
On the other side, on the north side, it's all groundsel bush, which is a natural bush that's around the marine
It's native.
environment. It's native.
Live in the salt water, live in the fresh water.
What's
Yeah.
the name of it? That's-
grounds.
Groundsel,
Groundsel.
like
And you get
groundsel.
you can get a list from James, he'll give you a list of native plants,
Yeah,
where you can plant around there.
yeah, I mean,
Because
that's,
if you hand cut,
you can dig
you
that
can
up and
replant with
replant it.
natives, and block that stuff out.
So on the south side, take all the phragmites down.
Yep.
You know, I think some of it is on Southampton town side too.
Oh, you have a survey? What's the survey say here? We're only gonna deal with your property.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, then we would go up to the
Yeah,
Southampton town
right.
side,
yeah.
which would leave some phragmites. Well, would you want the phragmites to go?
Survey's
I mean,
right there,
it's an
Scott.
invasive species.
Again, we only can talk within 10 feet of the, of
Yeah.
your boat
Oh,
slip.
Is there
around-
anybody
I
you
don't see where
would
it
talk
shows
to
the raised
about
The
elevation.
conservation board,
the conservation
Or,
board?
or
up
just consult
there?
with Marty. You wouldn't
Marty
even
should.
necessarily go to
Marty should.
conservation board because you're not asking for relief or anything. I would speak to the environment division,
Yeah.
get their advice of what administratively they think. But in dealing with what we're gonna deal with,
Uh-huh.
bulkhead replacing, reasonable increase, limited disturbance to native vegetation that's existing, and if we're gonna deal with Phragmites, and plant grass as indicated, it's gonna have to be a native vegetative grass.
And Marty's last name is?
Shay.
Shay, Warren Shay.
You know him?
Oh,
Okay. All right. You can do
And then you could
that.
get a nice project out of it.
Yeah, I mean, most of the bushes on the north side could be hand dug out, saved, and then
Oh.
replanted.
You hand dig the, uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, the
And
groundsel
dig out
bushes,
and replace.
yeah, I mean, there's no sense of getting rid of them,
No, you're doing
Yeah,
some
You need to
harm.
rebuy them,
right?
yeah, just put them off the side.
So where are we at with
Wouldn't that
this?
be better off to be native grass there?
Well, these
On
are,
the north side?
In place of the Phragmites, for sure.
yeah, but these
But
are,
that's
the-
on
But not on the other side, though,
North
because if
side.
you have native vegetation
Yeah,
that's
it's nice-
already there, and it's already
nice and
doing,
established.
it's doing its job, it's protecting your property.
it's flourishing on the
You're
property.
gonna hurt yourself.
As it is right now, other than the bulkhead tilting over, the vegetation is flourishing,
Than grass.
and it's a native
Yeah.
vegetation, it's a native shrub that
Maybe-
lives around the marine environment.
Yeah, you
And
don't
it's,
wanna,
it's blocking out the other stuff that's coming up.
yeah, you don't wanna
It's good.
hurt that.
can you pull up the
You don't want to hurt
photos,
that.
James?
So there's only
So-
2.5
and spin.
to 3 feet that is ours
No,
anyway.
do the
I don't
one-
know if all those bushes are,
Just take out that amount,
are here. It's this here, this picture here, I
On the north
guess you're looking at.
the
So
north side.
I pulled, we pulled it up on the
Oh,
overhead, so
there,
James.
There, see, there you go.
There, so on that right side of the boat, that's groundsel that we're referring to.
So,
So-
around the perimeter of the dugout slip, how much actual
And is that-
land is on each?
It's like 2.5 feet, 3 feet.
So
2.5.
when you replace this, you're not gonna be able to put a traditional lay log and dead man system, because you're gonna need to put, vertical, like helical pilings or vertical pilings close to each other. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like a traditional bulkhead where you excavate 10 or 15 feet behind, and then you put lay logs and dead men behind them with tie rods. This is gonna be,
He's indicating that. Yeah, he's saying it's designed with piles for lateral support instead of
It's an-
tieback, so
yeah.
as to not encroach on the
Yeah.
adjoining property, so he's
He's on it.
he's an engineer, he's kinda got it dialed in on that, but I think where there needs to be clarification is relative to the
plant.
native vegetation around the structure itself. That's where I think there's a disconnect. He's indicating grass, which is good, but you, like I said, we gotta specify the grass. And then we gotta do, as minimal disturbance to the existing wetland, vegetation as possible. That benefits the environment, it also benefits your property.
Yeah, probably those deep
So
roots.
you're really not gonna need much disturbance other than pulling the bulkhead up and replacing it. It's gonna be like pulling sections. And then you would have like you're asking for a 2.5 foot capping, I believe. What's it, James, what's? 24 inches.
So
Is the-
2 foot capping
It's
is the
2
max.
foot capping
That's
on
it.
top of the corrugated bulkhead would give you a nice walkway all around there. And basically, you'd be leaving the whole upland part of it there.
So that's gotta be amended. So you
That
gotta,
has to be amended.
yeah, it's gotta get amended on that capping to 2 feet from 2.5. And on number 7, where you've got site work, we've gotta specify the grasses. We've gotta,
Native
Will be
grasses.
replaced with, yes,
Native vegetation.
native vegetation.
Or native grass.
native vegetation or Cape American beach grass.
And the driveway in that part of it is out of our jurisdiction, so that would be, you know,
Conservation.
Conservation,
Yeah.
again,
Yep,
Yeah.
Marty's Chef.
beyond 10
The
feet.
plan needs to be more specific of where you're cutting the frag or revegetating.
Correct.
We need a full re-veg plan.
Right,
Because
exactly.
there are limits because of the restrained lot.
So how do we go about doing that part of it? Go to conservation?
No, I think
No,
you're gonna have
it's
to
all
work
in
with
our
somebody, it's in
jurisdiction.
our jurisdiction, but you're gonna have somebody craft a vegetation plan. Maybe if your brother knows somebody, or he can do it. He has to craft a plan, and as he's making these modifications to this permit so we can get to the next step, he's gonna have to indicate, you know,
a
where,
revegetation plan.
right, where he's pulling the phragmites out, and a list of what native vegetative species he's putting in.
So you need that before.
So
It's
we
gotta be
need
part of
that.
this
Part of
application.
the application.
Can we will that be able to be delivered as to in writing, so?
Yeah, I mean, James could spell that out for you. He could spell it out for you if you give a call.
Can we get back with you then?
Yeah.
Just,
To get the details?
did you put your contact
Yeah.
information and email down there?
Oh,
So,
yeah, I need.
yeah, then we could just,
Email.
and then James can just email you the information back and forth,
Correct.
so we don't have to wait on
I
phone
have your
calls.
email. It's danculver77gmail.com.
Yes, that's
Okay.
it.
So I'll email you what you need to give us.
Thank you, James.
Okay, thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Do we need to check with them about the conservation board, obviously before we do anything?
Not really, no, because you're not dealing in that jurisdiction. You're dealing in our jurisdiction. Okay, don't wanna confuse the
I thought there
issue.
was a lot more land
No,
there.
we're staying in our jurisdiction, so we're gonna deal with it right here, right now, because it's our jurisdiction. But it has to be native vegetation.
Okay.
And we have to get the specifics on what is going on there. It's for everybody's benefit.
So, you don't want any construction access on the south side?
It'd probably be better to handle this from the barge, as he's indicating.
Is that very doable, James? To have a
It
barge?
should be.
That's what a lot of people do.
That's what a lot of people do.
I mean, it says in your proposal by barge.
Okay.
That's what he's
So it
indicating.
sounds like the,
Yeah, they pull out the old bulkhead, put it on the barge, and then they use the barge to reconstruct the new bulkhead. It's, you know,
Yeah, because you don't wanna,
It's common.
yes.
Okay.
because there's not enough room on either side for a piece of machinery, like an excavator or a
Right.
machine to work.
Right.
You only have 2 or 3 feet, so there's not enough room there. So it would be practical, most practical to do it by the
Barge.
water or a barge.
When everything's all done and said, though, the phragmites, it'd be nice if it was all gone, would
You just
agree
need a
with that?
vegetation plan, but
Yep.
you need to
You cut it,
show
yeah.
us.
When are you gonna put it in place?
Right,
Yeah,
Okay.
right, that has to be in the plan,
So,
Okay.
otherwise it's just gonna make a mess.
and we would like, number 5, we talk about dredging on the west side, to make it a little bit deeper. There.
Call it reclaiming.
Well, what, we need to see do you have a plan showing us exactly what? We need to see that on a plan, how many cubic yards, where the dredge spoil's gonna go, did you apply to the DEC for,
Does it show on there, James?
is there on the application somewhere?
You know, we did get a response from the DEC, and they seem like they don't care. Yeah, I can show you
well, I mean, if you're gonna do
their
reclamation
response.
dredging, just taking the material and you're raising up the bulkhead, normally you put that material around your project, your bulkhead project,
Mhm.
and that material raises it up for you. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming the material is gonna be very silty and organic, and so it you might need to dewater it and truck it off-site. So you need to see what kind of material you're gonna be talking about removing, and how much. Show us on a plan how much you're gonna remove, how many cubic yards.
that's all could be known ahead of time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you can do
People
a
that
course.
do that?
Yeah, your brother or brother-in-law or whoever,
Brother.
the engineer, he could calculate that out and put it on the application.
There's nothing in the plans about dredging or,
This is just a
That's
general,
true.
these are just a general permit
Yeah.
terms. This is not a specific, this is just his general.
That's right, and so it occurs to me that anything that we do, they're gonna have the same response, that's as far as the DEC goes.
I would never assume anything with the DEC. I think that's
Yeah.
where you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is that when it rolls into our jurisdiction, we're gonna be a lot more specific towards what's exactly going on, and we're also gonna pay a lot more careful attention to adjoining property, effects on adjoining property. And they know that. They know that. They leave it for us to do as a home rule over here, to get this to where the project works for you, but doesn't create any other adverse impacts to the adjoining environment or property, and that's why we're being so specific. It does benefit you and everybody else, so.
Sure, so it's just at the time we do this amendment, we'll also include the DEC.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, so we got some work to do. We're
Okay.
making progress.
I look forward to talking to James and getting some details and, I guess resubmitting the application.
James,
Thank you.
The
John, can you hand over that?
application, is it solely on their property? It's a cutout canal, is it, it's not, we have the survey,
Yeah, it's on their property.
So there'll
It's
be
just,
no-
it's tight, it's,
yeah, the charge for the dredging would be, there wouldn't be a charge.
Oh,
for this.
no.
Yeah, there's no CY, we have to permit it, but it will waive the
Right.
fee on the cubic yards dredge amount.
Because
no,
it's
that's on
you
their
own,
property.
what? Yeah,
It's on
you
the-
own.
Because it's
you own-
internal.
But again, we don't have any dredging on the plane,
We,
so.
we have to get that on there.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we got a little work to do.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, thank you, nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Have a good
You
day.
too.
See you again.
Contact information, or would you like to contact me?
Next is RRRCB Ltd, 42 Dock Road, Remsenburg, Spionk.
So downstairs to the trustee's office.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chuck?
How are you?
How you doing
Besides-
today?
This is Remsenburg Marina, you know, I think we're all probably very familiar with it.
Yep.
It's 161 feet of bulkhead that they are reconstructing in place. Also a 4-foot wide walkway that is there. They're reconstructing that, 161 by 4 feet. One of their sheds and ice dispenser, I guess you'd call it, they need to replace the concrete pads underneath them, so they'll take them off, put a new pad in, and then put them back. They're also doing the gas tanks, but I think that's beyond the 10-foot jurisdiction, so. Pretty simple, untreated lumber for everything, and, you know, basically, this is a section that really needs to be done.
And going along with the travel lift is?
They're doing it, no, they're stopping where the travel lift starts. They're just doing from basically the ice machine.
Can you go back overhead?
So is it just a
Yeah,
straight shot, an east-west straight shot?
yep.
Okay. So
Oh, so
Yeah, they're really just
they're doing
replacing,
it-
they're just reconstructing what's there.
They're doing with that float sticking out
Yes, yes.
on the other side?
Well, no, we're basically, the stern of the boat there, that's where it's starting.
Okay.
Right
The,
there, yeah.
It's
And
outside the
then
travel.
going, it's not going into the travel.
okay.
And then going 161 feet, and you can see the walkway's already there. That's gonna be reconstructed, everything with non-treated lumber, and the bulkhead's gonna be vinyl sheet pile, with green heart piles. And you can see the ice shed there, or the ice machine, and the shed, which is right next to it. So they just wanna pick those up, move them off, replace the pads, and put them back.
what about a buffer?
It's all grass
It's all, it's all,
Yeah, you know, it's,
Don't they store boats there during the wintertime?
yes, sir.
I don't think you, yeah.
Yep.
So you really can't put any,
No,
Other than just no
and, you know,
mowed grass.
they do have a lot of buffer and vegetation over on the south side. You know, that's where the beach and all the natural vegetation is. on
we're
that side.
familiar with that erosion problem.
Trustee Parish,
I
Yeah.
don't see any problems.
okay.
I have concerns just about the ice shed and the shed and the ice shed. It's not attached to the bulkhead. Would it be trustee jurisdiction?
What's the distance?
I know it's within the 10 feet, but
Yeah.
it's not,
Well, that's why we applied for it, you know.
normally it's just the walkway and the bulkhead, because the walkway is attached to the bulkhead, but.
Yeah, I would say put the ice machine in the, any cement pad, that if it's not attached to one of our structures, that it's attached to the water, we should probably take it off.
Take,
But the only question you have there is the cement pad is within the 10 feet.
well, there's gonna be disturbance, you know.
That's the thing, it's
they
gonna
have-
get disturbed
you have-
beyond it, so.
You're gonna have to
Yeah,
break up.
It's probably, you could, if you could regulate it and assure, like Ann was
Where's
saying,
the
what
ice
about
machine
buffer?
now?
At least you know you're gonna just get what you had there, not anything greater.
No, they weren't planning on anything.
Right, I
just put-
understand, but if we
just put-
permit it,
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
Because you want to permit the slab and within the 10 feet.
It's probably,
We could go that route.
I think it's bigger than 10 feet though, isn't it? What are the dimensions of this?
Yeah.
It's not being
it's
outside.
pre-existing, right?
within and
It's just,
it- and
it's
it
just a
goes
reconstruction of an
landward
existing pad?
So it's not
Correct.
just
Yeah.
us.
It's within the 10 feet of the boundary.
Yeah, that's why we included it, because it's
Right,
within
it
the-
seems as though it's not, you know,
You don't want to overthink.
it's not a terrible thing, it is within where you are gonna have disturbance, you could have disturbance. So I guess putting the cards on the table to assure that,
For down the road that we permitted the slab there within the 10 feet.
and nothing more than that, what is already
It'd be just
existing.
like a Jackson's Marina, Scott, with all the stuff that's there, we permitted. stuff
Exactly,
that-
so let it go then.
All right.
No, I just think it's, because they're gonna have to break it up, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And
I hear what you're saying, James, but I think
That's it.
based on the potential for disturbance in the area that the trustees generally regulate, I think it makes more sense to
If the
use.
slabs are broken up, they'd be trucked out and I'll put on the
Oh,
beach.
oh, yeah.
That's where
Yeah,
it
yeah.
usually
That's where
ends.
Oh, man.
No, I
You
don't,
know, that
No.
whole place goes back a long way.
no, there's enough stuff over there already.
Trustee Parish,
I'm good to advance it.
Okay, thanks,
So-
guys.
So just, wait one
Sure.
second, to be clear, so Mark, your question was that the structures are out, the two structures, the ice machine and the shed are outside of trustee jurisdiction, but the
They're-
pad,
within,
No,
No, they are.
no, well,
They're in,
within the 10 feet.
they're on the pad, you know,
So
they're just a little shit that
they
get
are
picked up.
within our jurisdiction.
The only issue is I don't believe it's in your blue book as something you would review. I don't, it's not, I
Well,
can't
there's a
find it
potential
anywhere
for
in there.
wetland
Just want to
jurisdiction.
make sure it goes correctly
Right,
for
it's
Mr.
potential for
Bowman.
wetland disturbance in that 10-foot zone.
Oh, for sure.
Right,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
have
what
a
his
machine
concern is, he
there
could be, he
to
could be
break it up.
disturbing the wetland within that 10-foot
Just-
zone, which is trustee's jurisdiction.
So that it's locked tight, it might be good to look into. It may be something that the town would permit. I don't know if the trustees can. It's the only issue. I understand.
I don't think the town would be involved, because they're gonna tell us it's within 10 feet.
Yeah,
You
they're
know?
gonna, they're gonna
And they
defer to
generally-
us.
You know?
Right, it's just not it not being attached to the bulkhead.
Well, if you
is
were
my
gonna
only-
pour a slab on your property, a 10-by-10 slab of concrete on the property to place your shed on, would you have to go for a permit if the shed is
It's not-
conforming?
No build, no.
Right.
you're
There's no
replacing,
requirement for
there's
that.
no building
So there's no
permit.
requirement, but what he's doing is because of the fact there's potential for wetland disturbance in the jurisdiction of the trustees, he's
Well,
coming to us and saying, I could be disturbing
You
the
know,
property.
I think That's why we, put it on the DEC permit, because, you know.
Right, he's trying to
somebody should
be-
know.
No, I understand.
Above board.
And for other boards
Transparent.
down the road, where, we have to look at this in 30 years that we allowed that
Yeah.
two slabs to be there. I'm not worried about the building, just the slabs.
Oh,
within-
yeah, oh,
within the
they said
10
the only
feet.
reason,
There
we
you
gotta
go.
have a machine down there
Yeah.
to break it up, so, and you're right, they have to take it away.
Where you at? Where are we at with this? Trustee Parrish, where are you?
He said, go ahead.
Okay,
So what are we charging for that? Because we don't have
I don't think we are.
We charge a square foot, what we do for a deck. That would be my thought.
So charge it under a deck?
Yeah, it would be just like the square foot of a deck. It's a footprint within our jurisdiction. It'd be just like the boathouses that we charge and the decks and stuff like that. Right? That's the way I would calculate it. If it's 10 by 10, it's 100 square feet and whatever the going rate is.
We could,
That's fine.
Do you have another suggestion, James?
No, I just, we don't have something that's in there, so just asking.
All right, I mean, that's fine, you charge for that, that's great.
It's gonna just show up on the invoices deck instead of
Yeah,
concrete slab,
yeah,
so.
yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
have a nice holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
See you again.
Congrats.
And we do have plans,
Congratulations
stamped
to you.
plans, so.
I'm sure I'll be seeing you.
It's all good to go forward then?
I might be, I don't know what chair I'll be
Congratulations
sitting
to
in.
everybody who's leaving and, and the ones who are staying, so.
Yeah. A couple of us staying, everybody's have bigger and better aspirations.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right,
I'll
all
be
right, thanks.
invited,
Take care,
yes.
Chuck.
But They say they're gonna invite us back to the pizza party.
Oh, you think?
We have to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a great day.
And we want toppings too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Next, we have,
First Coastal Corp. for 36 Cedar Lane in Remsenburg.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, Bill.
Good morning, Mr. Matt.
how are you, man?
Very good,
I
very
see
good.
you on time today.
I'm on time.
Yes.
Only
Where
through the
else?
last one call.
Yeah, right?
That's where we put your last one.
He knew he was last.
Okay. Billy Mack, First Coastal for the applicant. This is 36 Cedar Lane. This property is one of the few properties on this creek that doesn't have a dock, and we're looking to apply for a 77 feet off of the high water. And it 41 feet into mean low, into the creek. It's an elevated catwalk with a 3 by 12 ramp and a 6 by 20 float. Appears all blue book compliant.
Plenty of water.
Yeah, there's deep water there, right at, we make the 2.5 feet.
Plenty of width on the waterway.
Yeah, plenty of width. Mhm. It's 250 feet
And what are we
wide.
what are we off the adjoining property line?
We are 17 feet.
Sounds like it's compliant.
Yeah.
And this is a vacant lot.
I believe, right now, it's a vacant lot.
According to our 2022.
Yeah. And
Aerial.
I believe there's a application for a house under construction with
there's
Marty's
a-
office.
We have a letter from the Conservation Board.
Says,
Based upon an October 30, 2023 field assessment, the routing of the proposed elevated catwalk and pedestrian access path can be supported so long as every effort is made to minimize cutting of tidal wetland cord grasses, groundsel bush, and forest vegetative cover. The construction details call for the installation of a light penetrable decked catwalk supported by untreated posts, and thus are consistent with the Conservation Board standards.
So
Okay.
sounds like we're good to go then.
sounds supportive?
Okay.
Are you good with it, Bill?
Good.
Thank you, guys.
All right, James,
Yes.
I got a bonus for you.
I don't, we just need, stamp plans.
Stamp plans?
Stamp plans, right?
I have a bonus for you, just to get you a little
Yes,
boosted ahead.
yes,
I was
please.
down at, you're 32 Sunset, is that you?
32 Sunset. I believe so. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Let's take a look here.
In West Hampton.
Yeah, look it up, see if you're 32.
Sunset and East Quogue.
Yeah, East Quogue.
East Quogue.
Yes.
You are, okay, so I went
It's
to.
yeah, I know what that property is.
You do.
Okay, now that you're remembering.
So,
Uh,
just to save you a step,
mhm.
go back to the client, have a conversation about the elevation, because 18 is
Too
much.
high. Okay.
Too high. I mean, it's extensive wetlands behind the bulkhead,
Okay.
right? Take a you know, this way, instead of you coming back here to work session and
Yeah,
going back
yeah.
out, I'm giving you
No, I
a
appreciate
bonus
that.
here.
I
okay?
appreciate
Well,
that.
it's just a man-made boat slip, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not
and-
like it's going
Yeah.
to be
Hold
a
anything back.
pool or a house or something.
Okay.
You're just saving the deep water.
Okay,
Because you want to do 152 feet of existing bulkhead,
yeah.
increasing top elevation by 18, and then a 4 by 25 catwalk, 6 by 20 float, and the piles. But the 152 at 18 high.
Not gonna work.
Okay.
Existing, so is that, it shows,
It's just, you know what we gotta do? You gotta go back to the drawing board, and then let's you and I meet down there.
Yeah, happy to
Can we
meet.
do that?
Sure,
We got a bunch of things I think we gotta go look at.
okay.
I think you and I should plan a day, or a couple hours, and we go out.
Have a picnic.
Sounds
We
good.
can have a picnic,
Bill, bring
pizza and
pizza.
toppings.
because that's
Go ahead.
that's all natural shoreline.
If you'd like to
I'm
meet
having
us.
breakfast, so I'm starving.
Oh, sorry.
Pizza talk.
Don't
Yeah.
don't talk to Scott then, because they're definitely talking about food.
All right.
In a
Yeah,
good
because
way.
that's a standalone,
No, happy to meet. Yeah,
that's a standalone bulkhead. It's
yeah,
not
and it's surrounded by
it's not
marshland.
supporting,
Yeah.
and when you,
Yeah.
It's all natural shoreline.
and you
all
put the
that.
elevation up, the wave of variation is gonna completely decimate the wash.
It's just not gonna work, so I figured,
Okay.
let me save you a
All right.
step.
Yeah, yeah.
So
let's
you're getting
meet.
a holiday
Washer
bonus
on
here.
I like that.
Yes.
The next holiday
No
bonus
double charge.
I'd love would be this Scottish
Well,
Marina,
he-
when you guys get
he
it. I know
got
it was delivered.
Yeah, well, you just gotta look at it. I'm familiar with the place, because I've
Yeah.
been permitting the
Well,
place
and
for
I'd
10
love
years.
to
Yeah.
get you, the board members currently that are here, so we can kind of get ahead of this. So anybody
There's a
that
lot
wants to.
down there, Billy.
There's a lot down there.
And you can't go all the way across to the other side.
Well, we're going to third.
Yeah.
Just going to third.
Here's what we're gonna
Third,
do.
but then you're gonna put a 50-foot boat that's 14 feet wide there, then
No, it's 215 feet.
I know, I was
It
doing the review
just
before
makes
Scott was on the board.
Well, eventually, we're gonna have to do, or they're gonna have to do, put a limitation when you have your poles, how far can the bow stick out from the poles?
Well,
or not?
they're not proposing any boats along the outer edge of that line. All the boats are inside that
Okay.
third
Did you,
demarcation.
Yep.
did you get everything to James and Sharon?
I did.
But
Well,
that's today.
but I know, that was Thursday.
Yeah,
So-
we just literally, I mean, it's,
But maybe you could look at it for next time.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, I
we've
would
already-
love to meet you
You're asking,
guys even before the 18th. So anybody that wants to meet down there.
I've already been down there, I've been down there a
Yes,
zillion trillion.
Scott was nice enough to
Yeah,
come
I-
down,
With
and you're familiar
pizza?
with it.
I'm very familiar
I'll
with
bring
it.
pizza.
We were trying to get
Bill
the,
will pay.
we would get the town to buy it, but they didn't wanna foot the bill.
I know.
We should-
Well,
They missed the boat.
and you guys know the story and
Mr. Bill
history
did.
with
Oh,
this.
we can
It's-
go.
We
Nice
love the
place.
place.
Let's go there.
and,
Yeah,
let's go there, yeah.
We want to get it cleaned up, is really what
My
that's
last
Yeah.
boat was
Okay.
built in that building down there, so.
Really?
And we
Yeah.
want to preserve as
There's a-
much of that
there's a-
history as possible.
There's a lot of maritime heritage and a lot of history there, and it's important to the community.
Yeah.
And the trustees, you know, we just want to see the most best use for shared resource
Yep.
and protection of the environment. That's what we want to see, you
Love
know,
it.
so we just got to get it all to work for everybody.
So maybe not this week, but next week, when you guys have a moment, I will meet anybody down there and walk through it and open
Okay.
for suggestions.
And then we can go to 32 Sunset.
And then we'll go to
And then the other
32
thing too,
Sunset.
since we're right in the zone here, okay?
Fantastic.
But I wanted to share that with
Thank
you,
you.
just to give you a jump ahead. 'Cause I
Appreciate
was
it.
there, I spent a bunch of time this morning, okay?
Good, good. Totally get it.
All right,
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys later. Thanks, Bill.
have a good one.
The next one is actually me. Lee Spiegel, 192 Redwood Road. There are stamp plans for this property, so I'd like to advance it.
Is it the wetland shoreline restoration? Yep, I'm good with that.
Yep.
All right. I think that that concludes the work session agenda. I do see a discussion here for executive session for personnel and confidential legal advice. So I think it appropriate at this point in time to make a motion to adjourn this meeting and go into exec session for discussing personnel and confidential legal advice.
I'll second.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, have a nice one every day, everybody. We'll be back at 1 o'clock.